I'll go ahead and read the governor's order. Due to the governor's recent order, all members of the Recreation and Parks Commission are participating virtually. For virtual meetings, commission members will be muted until they are asked to be heard. At that time, they will be unmuted and recognized and state their name and their vote. Today's meeting is a public meeting per the notice. Citizens can listen to the meeting if they contact the city manager's office to make the necessary arrangements. And the meeting is going to be live streamed on the city's YouTube channel, which can be accessed via the city website. And a recording will be available via next Tuesday on the city's YouTube channel. All right, we'll go ahead and do roll. One sec here to pull up my. So we do have a new commission member. I'm not sure if she is joining us today or not. I
am here.
Oh, you are? Okay, great.
Yes.
So Mashika, is that how you say your name?
It is.
Okay.
Yes.
So Mashika Jefferson is a newly appointed member of the commission, and she is here today. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself after I'm done doing roles?
Sure.
Okay,
yes.
Great. All right, I'll go ahead and do roll first. Kathy Gondry.
I'm here.
All right, great. John Gunkel.
Here.
Sean Hawkins. Sean, you're there. I see you. John France. John France. No. Okay. Bob Hartwell. Bob Hartwell. Okay. George Peterson. I can't hear you, but I see you on the screen. Are you there, George?
Can you hear me now?
Now I can, yes. All right. Taylor Ansley. Taylor Ansley. Okay. Mashika Jefferson. She's here.
Here.
Perfect. All right. So we need one more person for quorum.
I am here. I am here.
Great. All right. Perfect. So we do have quorum.
Great. Good. So I'd like to go ahead and call the meeting to order. So today's agenda looks like we're going to approve the 2 minutes from October and November. We'll have an update on the roles and responsibilities and the commission handbook, which I think Taylor was doing something with that. And then we have department updates. So Felicia, could you show us the October minutes? And John Gunkel, could you run us through the November minutes after I'm through with the October minutes since I wasn't there, please? I'll take that as a yes.
Yes, that's the only problem
No. Okay, go ahead. All right, go ahead.
Okay, we're looking for the
Okay,
October minutes.
There
Okay,
you
October minutes. So what did we
So that's the agenda.
wrote
And
that?
here
Yeah.
are the minutes. Here's the important part.
All right, thank you so much. All right, so we approved our September minutes, or excuse me, our June minutes. And then we had a gift deed that we were supportive of. We did an update on the roles and responsibilities, which basically we provided more feedback, and John Lawson, I believe, was going to keep working on that. Sorry. Okay, we had an update on Long Creek Park, some updates, departmental updates on the Washington Park and Phase 2 of Salem Lake. That was interesting that there was a discussion about the storage facility for the kayaks. and the longboats, I guess, which Wake was doing. And what else do we have?
Just some departmental updates.
Okay, yeah, okay. So may I have, anybody have any other comments about the October minutes? If not, may I have a motion to approve?
Can you say your name for me when you make a vote?
Okay, does anybody want to make a motion to approve the October minutes?
Motion to approve.
Thanks, John.
And do I have a second?
I'll second. This is Mashika.
Thank you. Anybody opposed? Well, it looks like Bob joined.
I
Hi,
did.
Bob.
Hi, I'm sorry. I was writing an epistle, so I'm a little late, but I wasn't present for October, so I'm not voting.
Okay, all right. So, but I think we have approval on the October minutes, so thank you for that. And John, could you run us through the November meeting minutes, please?
Sure. Well, we had a review of the draft ordinance for the rules and responsibilities that was provided. We just went through them briefly, and it was decided that any changes that people had to the draft, they were to submit them, and they would be discussed, I guess, today. Then we had department updates, the recreation center and the special use facilities and recreation maintenance. And I don't know if that was here. Did we talk about the manual for the commission manual? I'm not sure. We talked about that last week, but Anson was supposed to go kind of
We did.
throw out some ideas.
Yeah, we were gonna bring more ideas to the commission when we had quorum at this meeting. We didn't make an official vote. It was just briefly discussed.
Right. I think the idea was Anson was going to basically come up with a list of questions that commissioners might have. Then we'd kind of look at it as a group and, either add to that, and then we maybe would dole out some responsibilities and try to help answer those questions and put something together. Is the way I remember it. And I think that's it for the November meeting minutes.
So November, there was not a quorum, right?
Correct.
Right.
Correct. So the whole ordinance was not voted on. There were some changes made to it, and then this additional idea of doing a handbook.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you, John. So can we have a motion to approve the November minutes?
Motion to approve.
John?
If my audio is coming through, I'll second.
Yes.
Thank you, George. Anybody have any opposition to the minutes?
I have a question.
Sure, Bob.
Was any action taken?
No, we didn't have quorum.
Okay.
So everything was basically carried over for discussion at this meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we've had no objections, so the minutes are approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will move that up.
Felicia, I would like to, at this meeting, towards the end of it, just quickly go through where we are as far as membership and when terms are over. And I think I'm coming near the end of my term as the chair. I think I started this either in January or February, and it's 1 year
Yeah.
gig. So if we could see what that looks like also.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so we've approved our minutes, the update on roles and responsibilities. So who can run us through the updated document?
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the commission. I know that we've, in previous meetings, had city attorney, assistant city attorney John Lawson present to kind of hear some of the concerns and kind of work through some of the language in the city's ordinance and as it pertains to the roles and responsibilities of the commission. When the original ordinance was written, the rules and responsibilities of the commission were much different at that time. Many of those sections in the ordinance were written back when the school system and the city were one entity. And I know that several members looked at that ordinance trying to get an idea on what the commission's rules and responsibilities are, which got us to this point. After John attended the meeting, we took back those comments and basically drafted the language for the new ordinance, which does remove a lot of the outdated language that is no longer applicable to the commission today. Some of the things that do still have relevance with the commission, all of that language is still there, such as holding the regular meetings at least once a month and additional meetings at such time deemed determined by the commission when they're necessary. The director for the Recreation and Parks Department or his designee shall serve as the secretary for the commission. And basically, Felicia, you could go down to the, right there. No, get that number, that first, there we go, that first item in there. And basically, a lot of the things that we, as the Recreation and Parks Department, would bring to the commission for approval, such as the voting or recommending either the acquisition or deposition of parkland, voting on the naming rights of any park or recreational facility, vote on changes to the code that are requested by the director for the Recreation and Parks Department. Another recommendation that has been added is to make recommendations to City Council and the Recreation. Actually, Felicia, go down to the revised one that you were showing earlier, because there was additional language in there that Joe Cassidy wanted to have in there. Make recommendations to the Recreation and Parks Department and or City Council from time to time with respect to recreational programs, facilities, and resources. And also make recommendations or provide reports to the Recreation and Parks Department and or City Council for actions it deems necessary for the furtherance of the commission's powers and duties. So basically, a lot of the things that we would typically bring to the commission, we will make those things official, such as selling parkland, adding parkland, offering easements through parkland, naming of facilities, and if there are any changes that need to be made to the ordinance, that could be, for instance, if for whatever reason I decided to say, I think the ordinance currently reads that our parks close at 10:30 and you can be cited for trespassing in our parks after 10:30. If I wanted to change that to 11:30, that would be something, even if that was something that I wanted to do, I would have to bring that to the commission for approval before it goes to City Council for full adoption. But other than that, a lot of the older language that was in the ordinance, and things such as closing Recreation and Parks Commission, closing streets, things that we don't do anymore. All of that language has been removed. We did get the highlighted sections that you see on the page in front of you show the recommendations from Joe Cassidy. He wanted to amend that language to say the Recreation and Parks Department and City Council and not just City Council. So that's why those areas are highlighted now. Felicia, if you can go back to the overall ordinance, please. And you can see from this section some of the other language that was removed. The Recreation Parks Commission shall conduct and supervise recreation facilities. So that language has been removed. Are there any questions? I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward and clear in terms of what the roles and responsibilities for the commission are, or what the recommendation will be that will be when it goes to city council for adoption.
So I do wonder, William, this is Kathy. It looks like it's item 6, perform such duties as may be required by the mayor and city council from time to time. Have you gotten any feedback from the mayor or city council on what kind of duties they might want us to perform from time to time?
No, but those typically in the past, what I've seen from other boards and commissions, it may be, say if the department was performing a master plan or something like that, maybe asking you to provide feedback on that plan as a commission, maybe providing feedback on things that will impact the department. Is usually not anything that there may be some trainings. There have been trainings by boards and commissions where the mayor and city council, at the direction of the city attorney's office, has asked that those boards and commissions undergo certain trainings, things like that. But there aren't any weird duties
Okay.
that have been requested ever by the mayor or city council.
Another
So-
request may be to attend like a ribbon cutting if we open a park. Sometimes we like to have the commission there.
Okay. So when is this going to go to city council?
Once we get approval from the Recreation Parks Commission, we will work with the city attorney's office and kind of get a schedule from them in terms of when it will go to the full city council for approval.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any comments about this?
Kathy,
Yes.
I've been wrestling with this ordinance for some time now. And I don't sure how to answer my own problem, but it essentially doesn't do much. It's any different what the old one did, in my view. And doesn't give the commission enough of a role. Example, in the reports section, section 2-246, it's now a voluntary report by the department, with no report from the commission in any way, in a sense. So it's that kind of thing that, which is my concern about, which I'm going to get into later in the meeting, having to do with maintenance, but I just don't think it does anything really different. It does some nice things, but it doesn't give us much of a say. It doesn't really put pressure on us to relate more to the city council, which I'm going to get to later. I'm not going to make a big deal out of this, but I'm stuck, and I have 3 ways I can vote, so I'll have to do one of those 3.
Right. So the main thing that I see that it does is it removes some of that stuff that said, I mean, it almost like we were the supervisor of the department. There was language in there before that I interpreted that way. So I am happy that that's been removed because I don't think that should be our role. And of course, we're going to vote on this, right? So it's not just what Kathy Sue thinks. But anyway, and then the other, I think, opportunity we have is because we're changing it, this will put this in front of city council. And I'm hoping that they might provide some more insight into what they would like to see us do. If there's anything else.
The section that Mr. Hartwell was referencing, 2-246, in terms of reports, the original language that was in the ordinance basically required the commission to provide an annual report. And going back and speaking with former directors, Tim Grant, as well as Nick Jamison, the commission had never provided one of those reports. It is something, however, I think that doing some sort of departmental report and providing that to the commission, maybe with some updated numbers and figures, is something that we're working on ourselves in-house. But basically, the amending the ordinance would kind of take away that requirement of the commission to have to produce that report. It doesn't mean that you can't produce a report. It says the Recreation Parks Commission may make an annual report to the mayor and city council and shall make other reports as to the mayor and city council from time to time as requested, but it doesn't require it to be something that's done annually by the commission.
Okay, I get that, but I think for my purposes, I think that's a mistake, but it's getting the commission further off the hook. We should have much more of a activist relationship with the city council than we do.
Well, I think that we are subordinate to the city council, and if city council wants that more activity from us, then I'd like to hear them say that is where I'm going with it. So, so William, if we vote on this now, this is just an approval to present to council, because council ultimately would be the ones to say whether it's good or not, right?
Yes, it would go to probably general government committee, and then to full for kind of pre-approval, or that's where if there were questions or concerns, that's where they would come up, and then from there go to city council for full approval.
Okay.
And so what we were asking for is the language such in a manner that the commission approves that we made the corrections and changed the things that the commission has requested and met that requirement for kind of that you're happy with how the language reads now. If you weren't, we can go back and continue to revise this and get it to a point where the commission is happy with it.
Okay. So if there is no further feedback on it, may I have a motion to approve this so it can be presented? It can go to the next step.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Thank you. I would like to second that motion if I'm allowed to do that. That's
Yes,
Kathy.
you are.
Okay, thank you. And anybody have any issues?
Okay, my issue is what's the major change in the way we operate? What would be the major change?
The way that the language is currently presented reflects the rules and the role of the commission, basically how it's been for the past 20 plus years. And it just makes that language very clear in the ordinance. Originally it wasn't, the acquisition or selling parkland, naming the facilities. Those are things that we would typically bring to the commission. And so all of that stays the same. It's just in writing and being adopted officially as part of the city's ordinance. So nothing, the rules and responsibilities for the commission as a whole would not change.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So I think we're good.
Just
Move on.
We do need
Just-
to take, I think we need to.
Yeah, we need to do
official-
all those in favor.
Yeah, all those in favor and all those.
All in
not
favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, are there any oppositions?
I want to be recorded as an abstention.
Okay. So we have one abstention. Okay, are there any other oppositions or abstentions? All right, it does appear like the motion carries.
It feels like it did. It did, right?
Yes,
Okay.
it did. Motion,
So I would like to request that we have advance notice of when this gets presented. William, I didn't quite hear who you said it gets presented to next before council. It goes to the,
Goes to the Community Development and General Government Committee. I'm thinking that's the committee that it would go to. It wouldn't go to the Finance Committee. It could go to Public Works Committee. But whatever committee the manager's office feels it needs to go to, I'll make sure that you guys are aware of when those dates and times are, so that you could be aware of how it moves through the process.
Okay. And I think we'd probably need like at least a week's heads up on that.
Yeah, I mean, the city attorney's office will be the one that will be presenting the item. It will be we would know at least a month in advance before it goes to any commission. I mean, excuse me, any group, subcommittee for city council. Will be at least a month.
All right, thank you.
William and Kathy, before we move on, can we actually do a roll call vote? Since we are virtual, that way we can just make it known,
Sure.
and that way it's more clear.
Sure,
for
sounds
the
great.
minutes. So we'll just do roll call and you can say your vote, okay? So
Great.
Kathy,
I approve.
okay, John Gunkel,
Approved.
okay, Sean Hawkins,
Approved.
okay, John France,
Approved.
Bob Hartwell,
I abstain.
okay, George Peterson,
Approve.
okay. Joe Cassidy is not here. Taylor Ansley is not here. Mashika Jefferson,
Approve.
thank you. All right, motion's carried. Thank you for that. Sorry about that.
Sure, no, thank you for keeping us clear. All right, next item, commission handbook discussion. Do we have anything on that?
That was something that Taylor had mentioned at the last meeting. What we were gonna do is get some questions and we were gonna work on that as a group. He had volunteered to draft a handbook with some questions that the commission might be interested in, such as how long are your terms, when we vote for chair, vice chair, and maybe anything else that the commission is interested in.
Okay,
So if you guys have questions, we can go ahead and take those. And then I can give Taylor a call at a later date since he's not here. And we can discuss that as a group together.
well, there's things about how long are terms and when we vote, isn't that in another section of the?
It is, it's in the
City.
Municode.
Okay.
So a term for a commission member is 3 years. However, if for whatever reason a commission member resigns earlier than their 3-year term, someone else can be appointed to take over that term. For example, Tybo Guerra had to resign, so we're waiting on somebody else to resume his term. But that has not happened yet.
Okay.
But just some things like that. I was also thinking about putting some information about the Roberts rules in there. So that way it's just more clear to the commission about how to vote and what needs to be voted on.
Right, that would be helpful too, like the all in favor, say aye, all.
Correct, yeah.
Do we do that? Do we not do that? I noticed, we haven't done that for years in the past. And anyway, we just did the first and second, a motion and a second. So
Yeah.
anyway, that would be helpful to have that laid out.
And anything else that the commission wants to see or is unclear on.
Felicia, what about after you serve your term? What's the timeline in waiting if you wanted to be a part of the commission again? I think it's a timeline you have to wait to be able to apply, correct?
Correct, yeah. So a commission member can serve up to 2 3-year terms consecutively. After the 2 consecutive terms, they have to be off for at least 3 years, which would be the length of 1 term, and then they could be reappointed. And in order to be reappointed, they would reapply through the mayor's office.
So Felicia, would now be a good time to look at what everybody's terms are, or do you want to wait until after?
Yeah, sure, we can do that. It's actually posted online too, if you guys are ever curious. It's on the city website. Let me go ahead and get to that.
I was just looking at it, so I happen to have the link if you want me to post it in the comments
Sure, that would be great.
or in the chat. Okay, I just posted it.
Hmm.
Just. So also something else, we need an updated picture. But COVID has kind of prevented that. So as you can see, we need to update this. Because Ty is still on there and also Cherie is still on there. They're no longer on the commission.
Yeah. Are you sharing it? Or are we just all looking at our own version?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I thought it was sharing whatever I dragged on there. That would be helpful. Let's go ahead and do that. Can you guys see that now?
Yeah, gotcha.
All right.
So we're all good next year.
Yes.
Okay.
Does that, can I have I have a question?
Mhm.
I was appointed, I believe, in February of 2019.
Uh-huh.
If it was for a full term, what I can't remember is whether or not someone else had left during term. But if it was for a full term, that term would expire in February of 2022.
So all of the terms end in May. Whether you start in February or you start in May, they all end in May. Because I checked with that too, because we had a few members that were once appointed in December. And I checked with the mayor's office, they just keep everything expiring in May.
But if it's a 3-year term,
I agree with you.
it's not, the math isn't there.
Right, I agree with you. What I can do is I'll go back and look at your application and I'll check those dates.
Okay, because it looks like I managed to get reappointed without ever asking to be. And I've also seen language somewhere, but I can't find it, that that these appointments are from city council, but they're not. I was appointed by the mayor.
Correct. Yeah. What happens is the mayor makes the recommendation and then that goes to city council
Okay,
for approval.
okay. But I received
The letter from the mayor.
letter
Yes,
directly from the mayor. Okay,
you are correct.
okay. So yeah, if you could check the math, my little math problem, and I just don't,
Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll check that. I'll go ahead and check everybody's just to make sure.
Right. And so we should check on my appointment as chair, because I think chairs are only supposed to be a year.
Yeah, so if you guys would like, you can vote on a new chair and vice chair.
We could do what?
You guys could vote on a new chair and vice chair today.
Okay.
You are correct. We did vote you as chair in last December's meeting.
But you could vote for a new chair and new vice chair, or the vote could also be to
Keep as
continue,
is.
keep as is.
So I would like to not be the chair going forward, if that helps anybody.
I'm not so sure that does help.
So we would need somebody to either volunteer or be nominated to be the chair going forward.
Would anybody like to nominate someone to be chair?
How about John Gunkel, since he was the vice chair?
I would second that.
John, are you good with that?
I second that as well.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do a roll call vote to make John Gunkel our new chair, beginning in January of 2022. Kathy?
I approve
Okay,
with gusto.
okay. Sean Hawkins,
I approve.
John France,
I approve.
Bob Hartwell.
I approve.
Okay. George Peterson,
I approve.
Joe Cassidy is not here. Neither is Taylor Ansley. Mashika?
I approve.
Okay. And once again, John Gunkel, are you good with that?
Yes,
Congratulations, you're the new chair.
thank you.
All right, so now we need a vice chair.
You know, if the timing works out and he's interested, I think it does. Sean, I think you've done a lot of really good work, and I'd like to nominate you for vice chair if you'd accept.
I accept that.
Great idea. I'd like to second that.
Are there any oppositions for Sean being the vice chair? Okay, we'll go ahead and do our roll call vote. Kathy?
I approve.
Okay. John Gunkel?
Approve.
Sean, well, we'll come back to you, Sean. John France?
I approve.
Bob Hartwell?
I approve.
Okay. George Peterson?
Probably obvious that I approve.
Yeah. We'll skip Joe and Taylor since they're not here. Mashika?
I approve.
Okay. And Sean, last chance.
I approve that. I second that.
Well, you're okay. Congratulations, Sean. You are the vice chair beginning in January 2022. All right. Great.
Thank you for that. Okay, so I'll finish up the meeting and then pass it on to John in January, or John, you want to take over now?
You can finish up. You gotta finish your term.
All right, finish my term here. Okay, so I think next we have the department updates. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Let me go back to our agenda here.
Before
got
we get into department updates, I want to ask the commission to possibly consider something for the next meeting. Based on our calendar, the first meeting, our next scheduled commission meeting will be January 4th, which is the first Tuesday after New Year's. In the past, the commission has opted to move that meeting to the second Tuesday, which is the 11th in January, due to people's travel schedules. Just wanted to make sure that the commission was aware of that, or the commission could opt to not meet in January and have the first meeting for the new year in February. But that's up to the commission.
Well, I'm fine with keeping it on the 5th. Does the department have a problem with the 5th or what's the day? The 4th?
It's the 4th.
Does anybody have an issue making it on the 4th?
Don't think so.
William, is the vacation issue with your staff?
It's my staff and the commission's schedule. In the past, rarely in the past have we met in we usually take the month of December off. We've taken July off because of the same issue of having the meeting around the 4th of July holidays. But I haven't even received all of my staff's travel requests for the holidays yet. And given that they've worked diligently through COVID, I have a major issue going on in maintenance right now, just to give them, want to make sure they get some time off so they're not getting burned out. When we get back, we start to get into the grind of things. We're like recruiting for lifeguards, getting ready to open facilities, doing a lot of things like that. So It's very possible if we do have the meeting, if you do want to continue to have the meeting on the 4th, I can't commit at this point to how many of my staff members would be available. But then again, given the holidays when people do take off, there may not be a lot to update on from my staff in January as well.
I'm okay with this. It's my first day back to work that day anyway, after a couple, of several days off. So I'm fine extending it out if everybody else is.
I'm good with it.
Second Tuesday sounds fine with me. Second Tuesday of January.
Okay, so the meeting's going to be moved to what day is that? The 12th?
The 11th.
The 11th, okay. All
I
right,
just wanted to make sure that you're aware of that before we got to departmental updates, because it will be a question that will come up again. It's better to discuss it openly than going back and forth with the emails to get approvals.
okay, sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Sure. So now we're going to do departmental updates, rec centers.
William, I wanted to just commend you and your staff on what's going on at the Carl Russell. It looks really good up there. The lighting, everything, and from the outside. So I know they're working diligently on the inside, but it looks good from just the appearance on the outside from what I see when driving by there.
Well, I appreciate that, Sean. It's that project's taking a while. That center's been closed for almost a year now. And they're finished with the majority of the things inside. I think they're currently working on the gym, getting the gym floor installed. And once that's complete, we'll be able to kind of reopen that facility. Get with Leah and her staff, kind of do a nice walkthrough, make sure that they're okay with everything, and then get that facility back open to the public.
You have a timeline on when that will be open?
We're thinking the contractor, there were some issues with getting the floor installed because of the humidity levels needing to be at a certain point, so that the contractor will warranty the hardwood floors. We got that settled. I know they're currently working on that. I'm thinking by the end of this month, first couple weeks of the new year, we should be doing our final walkthroughs.
What is that? What would that? How would that affect with the COVID? Will we be able to use the facility once it's open? Or how are we going to do that when it opens?
It would fall under the same sort of guidelines and things that Leah and her staff have been working with and regarding activities, different types of activities, number of people inside the center, based on what the governor has asked the state to do. But the city would be able to be made available to the public. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Leah?
Yep. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. So yes, we are anxiously awaiting Carl Russell to open back up. It does look great on the outside as well as on the inside. So can't wait to get our hands back on that. Felicia has a plethora of flyers attached to this meeting, but we're doing a lot of holiday programming. So some of our biggest events coming up, as you guys can see, holiday drive-in bingo. We did one last month for Thanksgiving. The donations were for the Second Harvest Food Bank. We had I think it was like 200 pounds of food that we donated. So we're really proud of that event. Had about 100 people in participation. Hope to see the same results this upcoming Saturday at 2 p.m. So if anybody's available and would like to come out, love to see you there. We are working on a lot of out of school programming. So as you guys will see here, Creative Holidays. I always want to make sure that we have something for our youth to do when they don't have school. So Creative Holidays is a great 2-day camp. Purpose of this is they focus on making holiday crafts they can share with their family members. A lot of fun. There's also a winter camp that will go on the week after while school's out of session. Yeah, there's a lot on there. So Felicia will just send that out to you guys. I'm just going to hit some of the big ones now. So we've got the winter camp as well. we were making sure that what we have programs going on while kids are out of school, so there's a place for them to go. Also, I think I've mentioned in the past meeting that we've been focused on team programming. So there is a 3-on-3 basketball tournament that will take place on December 27th through 29th. And we do have a sponsor for that this year. Healthy Blue, which was the Blue Cross Blue Shield, has donated $500 to be a part of that. So excited about this tournament coming up. So those are our big things that we have going on. Any questions? Great, thank you.
I just want to take a minute. I mean, it takes a tremendous amount of work from Leah and her staff to continue to provide creative things for people to do inside of our recreation centers. I don't know if her and her staff really get the credit that they deserve all of the time, because they make it, they're so good at it, they make it look very, very easy. But when you're planning these events out months in advance, tracking attendance, developing new ways for citizens to interact and reach out to the department, such as like on the flyer that you see right in front of you, the We Play events at cityofws.org is an email address that Leah and her staff work to create, so that communication can be funneled and be much more efficient in terms of reaching out to the community and being able to be responsive to the concerns and questions that we routinely get from citizens. So just want to take a minute to publicly thank her and her staff for going through and really pulling some of these amazing events off. We're getting nothing but just wonderful and positive feedback from that. And they're doing this while they're short-staffed. We have district supervisors that are working in centers to provide coverage, and they're still providing creative and unique opportunities for the citizens to enjoy. So just want to take a minute to say hats off to Leah and her staff.
Great, thank you. We appreciate that.
Felicia, what's next on departmental updates?
Do we have any updates on the golf course in Winston-Salem? The driving range? I know we got I don't know what it is. It's some type of purifier or whatever it is.
Yeah, let me, I'll answer that question for you, John. Let me make sure that Greg James has an opportunity to go and go through the special use facilities, and I can kind of give you an update on the status of the driving range at Winston-Salem Golf Course.
Okay.
Greg?
Thank you, William. Good afternoon, everybody. Just recapping on a couple of events that we have at the weekends. We had a Christmas event over at Historic Bethabra, partnered with downtown Winston-Salem to provide a trolley service to bring visitors over to Historic Bethabra. The theme was history through the ages. We touched on Moravian, Victorian Christmases, really interesting experience for visitors, very well received. A couple of athletic programs we had, track and field for our youth in the area, making use of the Happy Hill track. Really pleased that we have a track that we can utilize. It's a tremendous resource. Excuse me. Also, holiday pickleball that we have just happened to be one of the coldest days of the year so far, but we did have several people coming out and join us. It's a really fast growing sport across the country. So we're looking at providing some additional outdoor programming as part of our athletics unit with pickleball. And then finally, 2 programs coming up for our new year. This time of year, we really shift to thinking about promoting and engaging our community for our programs in 2022. We have basketball, ages 5 through 12, multiple locations across the sea, and also dodgeball for adults. Just working around some of those restrictions with masks and so on. But I'm happy to say that we've had really strong attendance despite the ongoing pandemic. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you.
Yeah, and I almost want to echo the comments that I made for Greg about, that was when I was talking about Leah's staff, and it really pushed the envelope to create some brand new programs. And Greg's been working very, very hard and pushing staff to do some things outside of the box, do some very creative things out there at City Lake, some new creative programs out at Historic Cathabra, while monitoring and taking care of the quarry and hobby park. So hats off to him and his staff for continuing to push the envelope and provide great things. Even though we're still in a pandemic, they're finding creative ways to provide innovative programs in a lot of ways in which we've never done before. So hats off to Greg and his staff as well.
Thank you, William.
I know Renata is here. Renata, are you prepared to provide any maintenance updates for the commission?
Yes, I have a few.
Okay, go ahead.
Good afternoon. Just wanted to give a few updates on some of the projects that is going on that maintenance happens to oversee. A couple of them that we're going through is the Quarry Park. Just to advise, we were out on site with staff meeting and with contractors. Project is moving along. With that, they are still, and they're looking to be on track, hopefully to finish by mid-February or late February. Also, just wanted to take a look. Long Creek Park, just wanted to let you know the masonry work at the pool house has begun and that the steel supports are up for the shelter. So that project is moving along, as well as out there with Washington Park. Washington Park, they have actually put down the concrete slab and they have put down the cinder block for the new picnic shelter. And they have installed the framing and the walls for the new restroom that are to be completed. Other projects that we have that we're actually taking a look at is out there. I think Mr. Royston will touch base with Winston Lake, but on there, they are on target. According to them, they said they have finished dredging with the lake. So we're looking to see things turn around out there, hopefully by the end of January, 1st of February. A lot of our projects, as I was out on site with Haynes Park this morning, a lot of things that are going on is dependent upon the weather, because some of the things that are left to be done is asphalt and concrete. And as we know, the weather plays a major important part in that. And then just wanted to touch base with, I think last commission meeting, I presented you with a PowerPoint in regards to certain parks and deferred maintenance things that we were working with Whiting Turner on. We have completed, as I stated, we've went in and did Bowen Park, and we've also completed Crystal Towers. I have taken an assessment of the parks and things that the commission has actually went out and reviewed. So hopefully I will get to Felicia before the end of the month, another PowerPoint, and kind of do the same thing with the parks that you have visited and give you an update of what staff has assessed and what's out there for deferred maintenance past just the aesthetics piece of it, that anything that may need, a little more detail in regards to drainage and things of that nature. So here in rec maintenance, basically the weather plays a factor. We have winterized restrooms. We have some that are open all year round. Other than that, we take a time to look at this time of year and try to put our project schedule together and clear up some of the things that we can do in this time. And then we gear up and get ready for when we open up in the spring. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
At the November meeting where there was no quorum, and I'm part of the problem for no quorum because I wasn't here, but the Whiting Turner process, as it's described on page 3 of the minutes, I guess, from that meeting, 8 parks are described briefly as being in this Whiting Turner process. 6 of them are classified as a D in the deferred maintenance assessment. 1 is an F and 1 is a B. My question is, what I'd like to see, I'd like to request for the next meeting, if it's feasible, or the February meeting, what is actually being done in each of those 8 parks and whether they cover the deferred maintenance report issues. And I'd like to know that because I have some concern that this report may not be getting the attention that it needs. And the other question is the way the language is written in the maintenance update from November. It suggests in early 2020, we started with this, and that now Crystal Towers is near completion. Now we know it's completed. But at that rate, it would take years to take 8 parks, would it not? I mean, I'm trying to understand how the Whiting Turner operation works. And it's nice that they're doing it, but it strikes me that we're a long, long way on deferred maintenance. And so can you tell me, how long is it going to take to do those 8 parks? And are they going to cover the issues that are in the deferred maintenance report that was given to us in 2019?
If I may, go ahead, I'm sorry, William.
No, go ahead, Bernard.
Okay, if I may give clarification, Whiting Turner is not doing all of the work. Whiting Turner is assisting. Some of the assistings that they are doing are what we call some of the low-hanging fruit. They are not coming in and actually doing drainage work and things of that nature. Whiting Turner is basically using their staff in their office. When they are free, we collaborate with them and we come together and we will work on a park. A lot of things that they worked on with there, they repaired benches, they repaired the tables, they repaired, we cut trees, limbed trees. But as far as coming in and doing full construction work, no, sir, they're not doing that. Based on our conversation with them, we're partnering with them. They want to give back. They're saying, hopefully, looking at this process and as it moves along, maybe they can get into doing more. But for right now, they're not coming in doing the major work for free. So there is no contracts with them or anything to do that. A lot of that major work is being done by the Recreation Maintenance Department.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was going to hit on. Like they're a partner with us, and the fact that they're willing to help do anything at this point is magnificent. And so we met with them out on site, and there were certain things, certain tasks that were assigned to that the city was going to handle. There are certain things that they agreed to handle themselves, and they did take on a lot. But if you over the past couple of years, I mean, nothing in terms of construction, in terms of materials, supplies, anything has gone. Everything has slowed down, and a lot of that's due to COVID. A lot of it's due to how COVID has impacted businesses as well as the city. And I have over close to 15 people in my recreation maintenance division out right now due to COVID. And so we have worked on it here as we've been able to, but keep in mind that we were not assigned a specific budget. The parks that you see on this list were not assigned any funding sources to handle the repairs. And so we have to be great stewards of the city's money and making sure that we aren't just spending all of our dollars there at Crystal Towers, because we still have needs across the city. But to your point, Mr. Hartwell, we are working and have worked on updating, providing another update for that deferred maintenance assessment based on and reevaluating the parks after these improvements have taken place. My administrative manager, Stephen Younts, is currently working on that, and they're making some headway with that. And once we get that update complete, we can provide that to the commission for review as well.
Okay, I've got another question. Thank you. I've got another question.
So Bob, let me interject for just a second. We have 1 minute left, and I know we have people that have to drop. So I don't know if you want to table it or you can ask real quickly.
I guess it'll have to wait, but I've got it all written down because I've got some concerns about this, including having 15 people out. I want to know more about that. So is there somebody?
I can stay on the call. I can stay on the call after to answer your question. I mean, but COVID impacts every single one of us, regardless of how people feel about vaccines. And we still have a job to do. We on our daily park maintenance team, we're down to about 2 people. And these are the people these are the crews that kind of go out on a regular basis every day, visit different park sites and empty solid waste in trash cans, make sure that, they do the blowing in the parks. And when we have situations such as the one we're dealing with right now, we reassign staff to make sure that we're covered. Right now, there aren't any pools open, so we'll use some of the pool maintenance staff. We'll use some of our ball field staff to make sure that we're covered until we get over this hump. But it's not just recreation. There are other departments in the city that are experiencing the exact same thing. And, until this pandemic is over, it's going to continue to happen. We just have to be diligent and making sure that we're wearing masks, properly social distancing from as required, washing hands, using hand sanitizer, so on and so forth. But, things like this will happen. And we kind of knew that it may happen going into some of these colder months. We're doing the best that we can.
So are these people vaccinated? Seriously, and this is a serious question. Have this many people out? Are these people, what's the rule on vaccinations?
I can't, the city has a vaccination policy that we can provide, but we're not allowed legally to ask an employee whether or not they're vaccinated.
By what? By the city?
It's against HIPAA. We can't ask us. Staff can volunteer. They can volunteer that information. Employees can volunteer that information, but we, as a department, cannot require nor ask staff if they have been vaccinated. It's against the law.
So I want to get back. I've been asked to stop this, but I got a real problem with that. If that were true, the entire Biden vaccination program would collapse in a matter of minutes.
So why don't we adjourn the meeting and then let you guys, the people that have time to continue to just talk about this. William said that he can stay on the line.
Kathy, I'm going to end the meeting right up for my purposes now and get this later. I don't want to get into this anymore to suggest that people who are not vaccinated, that the feds have long since are winning on this one. I don't understand this. This is way too relaxed and it's having a very severe effect on getting things done in Winston-Salem. I can't believe that is the position in Raleigh. And I know it's not the position in Washington.
No, but to your point, Mr. Hartwell, I personally know people in the city that have been vaccinated and have had the boosters and still caught COVID.
Yeah, but that's not the point, William. That's not the point.
So I'm not sure I understand what.
So can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Move to adjourn the meeting.
Can I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, that's fine. We can adjourn.
Anyone opposed? I just want to be sensitive to people's time. So we're 3 minutes over, and Bob and William, if you guys want to keep chatting, that's great.
I think we should end it here. I'm going to have to think about it, Kathy, because it's just not making sense.
Right. I get it.
It's
a pretty hot topic. It's right up there with what do they say you're not supposed to talk about, like religion and politics. But, anyway, thank you all very much. I appreciate you putting up with me for the last year. And I hope everybody has a great holiday, and we'll talk to you in January.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Bye all.
We'll see you all next year.
Yeah.